Limpopo government has introduced new alcohol laws which will see the sale of liquor prohibited at midnight from next month. The alcohol midnight curfew aims to address the province's social issues such as community instability and gender-based violence. Let's speak now to the province's MEC for Economic Development, Environment and Tourism, Rodgers Monama, for more. Thank you so much, MEC, for joining us here on South Africa tonight. We appreciate your time. So, with the direct correlation between alcohol abuse and crime, gender-based violence and violence in communities, are you hoping this ban will lead to a marked reduction in these social ills?
Thanks. Thanks very much, Ali. Thanks very much, Ali, and your listeners. I don't know whether I'm audible enough for
Absolutely, we can hear you well.
Okay. Thanks very much, Ali, for affording us this opportunity, and thanks very much for your viewers. As the objective reality obtains, is that as the province, we're one of those provinces that were lagging behind in terms of aligning our legislation, our Liquor Act, in line with what is obtainable currently due to the new dispensation, democratic dispensation. And as such, I think we're still operating under the National Liquor Act of 1989. You can imagine what has unfolded since then. So we have tried to insert and incorporate some provisions that will address other things that will assist us to promote the social cohesion, as you correctly said. But also we're overwhelmed and outdated by the reports by the WhatsApps about the fatalities that are happening, the crime levels that is happening, to say, as a department, how best do you assist to reduce the crime level in the province and so forth. But also the hospital or the Department of Health also was more overwhelmed by the number of the fatalities that they keep them busy during those hours. And as a result, I think we said that we have to review and implement an act that will be congruent with what is applicable. And we have consulted a lot to all the stakeholders in the province that they've made some inputs. And they were quite happy because this new dispensation allows our people that for instance, the issue of the social cohesion, that I think we're also reducing the gender-based violence crimes that has been experienced, the rapes that has been taking place and so forth. And people are quite happy and excited about this new development. But over and about, when people have to make some applications, they have to go to the central place, which is in the provincial government. But with the new dispensation, we have also devolved this function to the district offices. But also previously, you did not have a time for you to lodge a dispute or an appeal if you are not, or if you are aggrieved or prejudiced by the process. So for now, we are factoring in those issues. But also we have extended period. Now, liquor outlets can even open on Sundays throughout, and then knock off at 12 o'clock. So I think we've been very fair and consultative in the process to ensure that we also contribute meaningfully. But over and about also, we know that we are a department that is responsible for the empowerment of the SMMEs, or what you call strengthening entrepreneurship ecosystem. As such, we are also giving a provision for SMMEs to participate as consulted for application of liquor, and over and about to ensure that those who have been marginalized before, they also get an opportunity to participate in this industry.
If I may jump in there, I want to ask about enforcement, because the bill is just the start of the process. Once that is in place, then the big challenge becomes enforcement of the laws contained within that bill. We simply don't have enough boots on the ground as it is to police the sale of alcohol. Now we're reducing the hours. How practically are you going to be approaching enforcement?
Fortunately, the bill also gave provision for us to work collaboratively with SAPS and the Department of Social Development and other sectors in the industry and the municipalities that are there to enforce some bylaws, because there is no way in which we can't set those contingency mechanisms so that we are able to nip in the bud some of the things that can happen outside the parameters of that envisaged law or act.
During the COVID-19 alcohol bans, we saw a dramatic increase in the sale of illicit alcohol. We did speak to the Liquor Traders Association a little bit earlier, and they expressed concern that this ban would have a similar effect in merely empowering and increasing the trade done through illicit means. What is your response to that?
Yeah, in the same vein, and I think also you can agree with us that even during COVID, we have what you call adjusted times, whereby liquor was sold on Fridays and Saturdays only, and people were not complaining. But now people are unfairly complaining that we are very harsh by cutting that period, cut 2 hours. In fact, we have increased it because they were starting at 10. Now we have said that they must start at 9 and they must open on Sundays. I don't know what excuse people will then use as a scapegoat for them to continue to deal with the illicit trafficking of drugs and so forth. One of the issues that I think we are also raising is around that we got the report that also some of these liquor outlets, taverns and shop-ins, people are using them for trafficking of illicit trafficking of cigarette, drugs and so forth. And that's where a number of crimes are happening, and we are trying to contribute to ensure that we transform the socio-economic landscape of our province, but over and above, to ensure that our SMMEs, more especially the traders, they are not disadvantaged about this very same act that we are promulgating.
So we know through Mr. Lucky Ntimane from the Liquor Traders Association that you have a meeting scheduled on Monday to interact and discuss this bill and see whether there's some way that you can come to an agreement. However, Mr. Ntimane has indicated to us here at ENCA that regardless of that meeting or any discussions that take place, they will still be seeking a court interdict to stop this bill from being implemented on the 1st of August.
Definitely, we have extended an olive branch to them because they've raised some pertinent points, because people must also understand how a law is being promulgated, that there is a consultative process and they must take advantage of that. But I think we're looking forward to have an amicable solution with them. But we generally agree, or we are on the same wavelengths of issues, that we have included some progressive provisions, except that they were complaining by this and that, and we are ready and amenable to engage them, and they are happy that we are giving them the room to come and engage and try to convince us why we should have some amends in that message act. But generally, I think we are talking and we are agreeing. That's why we have invited them to say, we hear that you have some issues. Come and discuss and show us what are the things, what are the systematic deficiencies in that act, why you didn't exploit the opportunity when it was gazetted and when people were allowed to make some objections and were not there. And we're looking forward to work with them because we also wanted to assist them to improve the industry.
What feedback did you get during the period of public engagement? Are the people of Limpopo positive about this new bill, or did you receive the impact of those crimes on the communities they affect so horrifically? Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was the MEC of Economic Development, Environment and Tourism, Rodgers Monama.